Imagine, for a moment, that your mind is in constant turmoil. With every new challenge, every problem, you feel the weight of stress, anxiety, and doubt. Now, what if I told you there's a way to calm that mental storm? An ancient approach, developed by one of the greatest emperors to ever live, who, even at the height of power, found inner peace. Stoicism, the philosophy practiced by Marcus Aurelius, offers exactly that, the path to emotional control, mental resilience, and clear thinking. He taught us that we can control how we respond to the world, not what happens in the world. Now, imagine being able to live your life with more self-discipline, more mental clarity, and less anxiety, even when chaos surrounds you. It's possible, and in this video, we're going to explore 6 Stoic lessons that can transform the way you think and live. Are you ready to apply Stoic wisdom to your life? Get ready for a journey of transformation, where each lesson isn't just a philosophical idea, but a practical tool you can use to improve your daily life. No matter what you're facing, these lessons will help you overcome challenges with more calm, clarity, and mental strength. The foundation of Stoic thinking. What is Stoicism? At its core, Stoicism is not just a philosophy but a way of life. It teaches us how to develop emotional control, clarity in thinking, and resilience, especially in the face of challenges. Stoicism, founded in ancient Greece by Zeno of Citium, was later championed by great thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. This philosophy is rooted in the belief that we should focus on what we can control, letting go of what we cannot. It's a philosophy that teaches us to focus on our inner world and cultivate the virtues of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, which together form the essence of a balanced and fulfilling life. Each of these virtues serves as a guide, helping us make decisions that are aligned with our highest potential. Stoicism is about living intentionally. It's not about passively accepting whatever happens, but about actively shaping how we respond to life's inevitable challenges. By focusing on the virtues of Stoicism, we can consistently make decisions that reflect our highest moral standards. The Stoic teaches us that true fulfillment and inner peace do not come from external possession, the opinions of others, or the uncontrollable events of life. Instead, peace of mind comes from our internal state, how we choose to react to life, regardless of the circumstances. For Marcus Aurelius, Stoic philosophy was more than just an abstract concept. It was his guiding light in ruling the vast Roman Empire. Despite his immense power and responsibility, Marcus faced constant personal and political challenges. Yet, through Stoicism, he found peace amidst the chaos. His daily reflections helped him remain grounded in the face of adversity, making him one of history's most respected leaders. Stoicism teaches us that true peace comes from within. When we learn to master our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we become truly free to live a meaningful and purpose-driven life. The dichotomy of control. One of the most powerful teachings in Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. This concept emphasizes the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. At its heart, Stoicism teaches that we have control over our thoughts, our judgments, and our actions, but we do not have control over external events, people, or outcomes. This simple yet profound realization can bring a sense of mental clarity and help us move through life with greater calmness and purpose. Think about it for a moment. How many times do we stress over things beyond our control? The weather, other people's opinions, or outcomes we can't influence. The more we try to control these things, the more stress and frustration we create. When we try to force the outcome of things we can't control, we often find ourselves emotionally drained. But here's the liberating truth. When we stop fighting to control the uncontrollable and instead focus on what we can influence, we regain power. This shift in mindset allows us to approach life with a new sense of purpose. Consider this example. Imagine you're preparing for an important presentation at work. You've practiced, you've researched, and you feel ready. The moment arrives, and your computer crashes. In this moment, you can feel the rush of frustration and anxiety. But instead of being swept away by these emotions, the Stoic mindset would encourage you to focus on what you can control: the content of your speech, your delivery, and your ability to stay calm. The external circumstance, the computer crash, is out of your hands, but your response to it is not. By focusing on your self-mastery, you can remain clear-headed and adapt to the situation with composure. In doing so, you regain a sense of control over your experience, which empowers you to perform with greater confidence. This shift from focusing on external circumstances to focusing on internal control is the key to developing mental resilience and emotional strength. When we internalize this teaching, we stop wasting energy on things that are outside of our control. Instead, we channel that energy into cultivating virtues like self-discipline, emotional intelligence, and mental clarity, qualities that empower us to act effectively and with purpose. By focusing on what we can control, we can live with greater focus and ease, free from the anxiety of trying to dictate outcomes beyond our influence. Lesson 1. Practice the art of reflection. Marcus Aurelius practice. One of the most powerful tools for personal growth that Marcus Aurelius used was self-reflection. Every single day, he spent time writing in his journal, reflecting on his actions, thoughts, and the nature of the world around him. This wasn't an exercise in self-criticism, but a way for him to check in with himself, to ensure his mind stayed clear and his actions remained aligned with his core values. In a world full of distractions and external noise, this act of self-reflection became his anchor, a steady force that helped him refine his Stoic mindset while deepening his understanding of life, leadership, and the pursuit of wisdom. What Marcus Aurelius understood, and what we often overlook, is that true mental clarity doesn't come from constantly doing. It comes from taking the time to pause, to reflect, and to examine where we are in our journey. This practice wasn't just for emperors or philosophers, it's a tool that each of us can adopt, no matter our circumstances. In fact, one of the most effective Stoic practices is to carve out a few moments each day to reflect on our thoughts and actions. It's in this time of reflection that we gain emotional control and come to understand where we have room for improvement. Marcus Aurelius used his journal as a means of self-discipline, organizing his thoughts and ensuring that he stayed on track with his goals and values. The power of this habit lies in its simplicity. By reflecting on the events of his day, Marcus didn't just record his thoughts, he refined them. He examined his own actions, looked at where he succeeded, and noted areas where he could do better. For him, it wasn't about perfection, it was about continual self-improvement. This daily reflection allowed him to learn from his experiences, both positive and negative. In our own lives, taking time to journal, or even just pause for a few minutes can reveal patterns in our behavior, help us understand our emotional responses, and ultimately help us make better decisions going forward. By recording our daily experiences, we can pinpoint moments of emotional strength, and those where we may have faltered, learning from both. Reflection doesn't just help us feel better about our mistakes, it helps us grow stronger through them. Clear thinking through reflection. Self-reflection is not merely about introspection, it's a vital tool for achieving clear thinking and mental resilience. When we pause and reflect, we create a critical gap between an event and our emotional reaction. This space is invaluable because it allows us to think before we act, instead of reacting impulsively. This is one of the cornerstones of emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize and manage our emotions rather than being controlled by them. Let's take a real-life example. Imagine you had an argument with a colleague at work. The conversation escalates quickly, and emotions run high. Instead of letting the emotions from the argument cloud your judgment, you take a moment to reflect on the situation. What triggered your emotional reaction? Was it something the other person said, or was it a personal issue that surfaced? By reflecting on this, you begin to understand why you felt upset in the first place. This practice allows you to gain valuable insights into your emotional patterns and enhances your self-discipline in high-pressure situations. By regularly reflecting on such moments, you can develop the ability to stay calm and clear-headed even when emotions run high. Reflection gives us the mental resilience to not act on impulse, but to act thoughtfully, ensuring our actions are in alignment with our core values. This kind of self-awareness and control transforms our relationships and decision-making abilities. The more we practice this, the less likely we are to get caught up in unnecessary drama, confusion, or negative emotions. Reflection helps us to remain steady, especially when life tries to pull us off course. To incorporate this practice into your daily life, start by dedicating just 5 minutes at the end of each day. Ask yourself some simple, yet powerful questions. What went well today? What could I have done differently? Was there a moment where I let my emotions get the better of me? How can I learn from that? These questions can be a simple, yet profound exercise in mental clarity. With time, you'll notice that you begin to see things more clearly, and your ability to navigate challenges with emotional control and resilience will improve. By becoming consistent in this practice, you begin to develop a mindset shift. Reflection no longer feels like a chore. It becomes an essential part of your growth journey. You start to see the value of self-reflection not as an exercise, but as a continual process of improvement. It helps you not only identify your strengths, but also pinpoint areas where you need to grow. This growth isn't just about learning new skills, it's about refining who you are and how you respond to the world. As you continue to reflect, you deepen your understanding of yourself, building a clearer, more mindful approach to the challenges that life inevitably presents. Lesson 2. Accept the impermanence of life. Memento mori. Remember that you will die. One of the most profound lessons from Stoicism is the practice of memento mori, which translates to remember that you will die. At first glance, this may seem like a morbid thought, something uncomfortable to dwell on. However, this powerful practice serves as a tool for clarity and focus. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher and emperor, often reflected on his own mortality, reminding himself that life is fleeting and that every moment is precious. This deep awareness of our impermanence allows us to shift our focus toward what truly matters, encouraging us to let go of distractions and the things that don't align with our values. Understanding and accepting the truth that our time on earth is limited forces us to prioritize what's important. It encourages us to invest our energy in things that contribute to our personal growth, deepen our relationships, and cultivate our inner peace. Marcus Aurelius didn't let the distractions of power, wealth, or fame cloud his purpose. His reflections on death helped him maintain focus on the things that mattered most to him, such as virtue, wisdom, and justice. In today's fast-paced, success-driven world, it's easy to get caught up in the never-ending hustle. We're often chasing after more money, more achievements, more status. The irony is, the more we chase, the more we feel drained and disconnected from what really gives us meaning. But Stoicism teaches us that by embracing impermanence, we find a deeper sense of purpose and mental clarity. When we accept that we will one day leave this world, we begin to free ourselves from the trap of unnecessary desires and anxieties. We no longer sweat the small stuff because we recognize that life is much bigger than any one event or obstacle. How embracing impermanence leads to clarity. When you truly accept the concept of impermanence, something remarkable happens. Anxiety about the future begins to dissipate. You realize that stressing over things beyond your control, like future outcomes, the expectations of others, or circumstances that haven't yet unfolded, serves no real purpose. In fact, worrying about these things only drains your energy and distracts you from what matters most. What matters is how you choose to live in the present moment. The practice of memento mori clears away the mental clutter. By acknowledging that life is finite, you open up the space needed to make decisions rooted in purpose, not fear or stress. You stop wasting energy on hypothetical outcomes and instead focus on what you can control, how you show up in each moment, how you interact with others, and how you choose to grow as a person. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you're facing a difficult decision at work, perhaps a job promotion that would require you to relocate. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the unknowns, to worry about making the wrong choice, or to feel paralyzed by the pressure to get it perfect. However, by contemplating memento mori, you are reminded that your time is limited. No matter what decision you make, your life is not defined by any one choice or outcome. This realization brings a sense of freedom to act with integrity, knowing that your time here is precious and you are in control of how you spend it. In this moment, emotional control comes into play. You realize that fear of the unknown or worrying about potential consequences won't serve you. What truly matters is making the decision that aligns with your values, that supports your growth, and that contributes to your purpose. When you live with the awareness of impermanence, you make decisions with greater mental resilience, knowing that what truly matters is not the outcome, but the process of living in accordance with your Stoic principles. Gratitude and letting go. The acceptance of impermanence does more than reduce anxiety. It also fosters a deeper sense of gratitude. When we realize that nothing lasts forever, we become more appreciative of the moments we have. We stop taking people, experiences, and opportunities for granted. Whether it's a conversation with a loved one, a quiet moment of reflection, or simply enjoying the beauty of nature, we learn to savor the present. We realize that every moment is a gift, and instead of striving for something more or better, we begin to embrace what we already have. By letting go of the need to control every outcome, we find peace in accepting the natural flow of life. We come to understand that we are not in charge of everything, and that's okay. Life's impermanence teaches us that it's not the things we acquire or the achievements we accumulate that bring lasting happiness. True happiness comes from how we live each day, with awareness and acceptance of the fleeting nature of our existence. As we embrace the concept of impermanence, we build a life that is grounded in gratitude, awareness, and purpose. We don't allow trivial concerns to consume us. Instead, we focus on what really matters, the relationships we nurture, the growth we experience, and the inner peace we cultivate. And as we continue on our journey, we approach each day with the knowledge that our time is limited, and every moment is an opportunity to live with intention. Lesson 3. View challenges as opportunities. Obstacles as opportunities. In the Stoic mindset, challenges are not obstacles to avoid, but opportunities to grow. Marcus Aurelius, along with other Stoic philosophers, believed that every adversity, no matter how difficult, presents a chance to practice virtue. Whether it's cultivating patience, courage, or wisdom, each challenge we face is an opportunity for personal development. Instead of viewing difficulties as barriers that prevent us from progressing, Stoics encourage us to reframe them as stepping stones on our journey toward becoming a better, stronger version of ourselves. When we approach challenges with this mindset, we shift our perspective from victimhood to empowerment. We stop seeing ourselves as passive participants in life, and start realizing that we have the power to decide how we respond to the obstacles we face. Life is full of challenges, and each one is an opportunity to learn something new, whether it's about ourselves or the world around us. The question becomes not, "Why is this happening to me?" but instead, "How can I use this situation to become a better person? What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective fosters mental resilience. We begin to see adversity as a natural and essential part of life. It no longer feels like something to fear or avoid. Instead, it becomes an opportunity for growth, for refining our character, and for sharpening our ability to navigate life's ups and downs with grace. When we stop viewing challenges as threats and start seeing them as opportunities, we approach them with clarity, confidence, and a renewed sense of purpose. Imagine, for instance, you're dealing with a difficult project at work. It's overwhelming, and there's a part of you that wants to give up. Instead of succumbing to feelings of frustration or discouragement, take a moment to reframe the situation. Recognize that this is an opportunity to refine your emotional control and mental toughness. The challenge becomes less about the problem at hand and more about how you will rise to meet it. Instead of feeling defeated, you can choose to rise to the occasion, using the experience as a way to cultivate your Stoic practices. Reframing challenges with a Stoic mindset. One of the most powerful tools that Stoic practices offer is the ability to reframe challenges. Reframing means changing the way we think about difficulties. Instead of asking, "Why me?" the Stoic asks, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger from this?" By shifting our thinking, we stop seeing life as a series of unfortunate events and start seeing it as a series of Stoic lessons, lessons that provide us with the wisdom and strength we need to live with more resilience and mental clarity. Take, for example, a person facing financial difficulties. It's easy to fall into feelings of frustration or shame, especially when it feels like nothing is going right. However, a Stoic would see this as an opportunity to practice self-discipline. Instead of focusing on the negative aspects of the situation, they might choose to review their spending habits, perhaps learning how to budget more effectively or seek out additional sources of income. The challenge isn't a roadblock, it's an opportunity to cultivate wisdom and prudence, qualities that will serve them well in all areas of life. This reframing doesn't just help in practical ways, it also frees the individual from the emotional weight of frustration. By shifting their mindset, they can approach their financial situation with mental resilience, self-control, and clarity. They are no longer controlled by emotions like fear or shame, but instead, they are empowered to make decisions based on reason and practical action. This shift in perspective is one of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy, the role of journaling in reframing challenges. This is why Stoic journaling can be such a valuable tool in reframing challenges. When we reflect on the difficulties we've encountered, journaling allows us to see them through the lens of growth. Writing about our experiences helps us distill the lessons we've learned and gives us a deeper understanding of how we can approach similar challenges in the future. The practice of journaling was something that Marcus Aurelius did daily. It was through his reflections that he was able to navigate the trials of his life and leadership with such wisdom and grace. By making journaling a part of our daily routine, we give ourselves the opportunity to reflect on our own challenges and reframe them as opportunities for growth. In doing so, we begin to build a clearer, more resilient mindset. Stoic journaling encourages us to step back, evaluate our reactions, and ask ourselves how we can learn from each experience. It's a way to put theory into practice and ensure that we are consistently moving forward, no matter the obstacles we face. As we continue this practice of reframing, we begin to see challenges not as burdens to bear, but as opportunities to become better versions of ourselves. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to practice the virtues of Stoicism: courage, patience, wisdom, and self-discipline. And in doing so, we become more emotionally resilient and better equipped to handle whatever life throws our way. Self-mastery and mental resilience. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the concept of self-mastery, the idea that we have the ability and responsibility to control our reactions, emotions, and judgment. Marcus Aurelius, despite the immense pressure of ruling an empire, was steadfast in his commitment to maintaining inner peace. He believed that true mental resilience comes not from avoiding challenges, but from building an inner fortress that allows us to face them with calmness and clarity. This inner fortress is a mindset grounded in self-discipline, emotional control, and rational thinking. Self-mastery isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about understanding and regulating them. The Stoic approach teaches us to observe our emotions without letting them dictate our actions. For example, when confronted with anger or frustration, a Stoic might take a deep breath and remind themselves that these emotions do not have to control them. Instead, they focus on their thoughts and actions, choosing to respond with reason rather than impulse. This kind of emotional awareness is a key component of mental toughness, as it allows us to stay grounded even in the most turbulent situation. Building mental resilience. To build this inner fortress, Stoics practice techniques like meditation, mindful observation of thoughts, and controlled breathing. These practices help us gain better control over our minds, leading to mental clarity and emotional strength. By practicing these daily, we train our minds to stay calm and centered no matter what external chaos surrounds us. Imagine facing a stressful day at work. Your to-do list seems endless, your boss is demanding, and everything feels out of control. In this moment, taking a few minutes to breathe deeply and center yourself can make all the difference. You're not controlling the external circumstances, but you are gaining control over how you respond to them. Additionally, Stoics believe in the power of meditation to strengthen the mind. This doesn't necessarily mean sitting in silence for hours at a time, although it can. It can simply mean taking brief moments throughout the day to pause, reflect, and reorient yourself toward your values. Practicing this regularly helps to clear away the mental clutter that often leads to stress and anxiety, allowing us to live more fully in the present moment. The more we develop this mental resilience, the stronger our inner fortress becomes. Over time, we develop the ability to stay calm, even in the face of external turmoil. The Stoic idea of self-mastery teaches us that we are not at the mercy of our emotions or circumstances. Instead, we have the power to choose our responses, to direct our thoughts, and to cultivate an inner peace that remains unshaken by the world around us. This practice of building mental resilience is not a one-time effort. It's a lifelong journey of strengthening the mind and becoming more attuned to our inner selves. Lesson 5: Live according to nature. Living in harmony with the world. In Stoicism, one of the most fundamental principles is living in harmony with nature. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of understanding the natural order of things and aligning our actions with the world as it is, rather than fighting against it. For him, this didn't mean passivity or resignation, but rather an active effort to live according to reason, virtue, and the natural laws of the universe. The Stoic approach teaches us that when we understand our place in the world and accept that nature has its rhythms and cycles, we can begin to live more mindfully and harmoniously. The world, with all its challenges and obstacles, follows a natural course, and so should we. Rather than railing against life's difficulties or trying to control what is beyond our influence, Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control: our actions, our thoughts, and our responses. By doing so, we align ourselves with the natural flow of life, accepting that there are forces at play that are beyond our control. This doesn't mean giving up on our goals, but understanding that our peace of mind comes from accepting what we cannot change and focusing on the path that is within our power to walk. Why understanding your place in the world leads to mental clarity. When we accept that we are a small part of the grand, interconnected system of nature, we can find a deeper sense of peace and mental clarity. It helps us detach from ego and the need to constantly prove ourselves. In a world that often pushes us to be more, do more, and have more, living in harmony with nature allows us to recognize that we are enough just as we are. We stop fighting against the world and start working with it. This perspective frees us from the stress of constant comparison. When we understand that everyone has their own path, their own timing, and their own challenges, we can stop measuring our worth against others. Instead of seeking validation from external sources, we find it within ourselves, in our Stoic practices and the way we live our lives. By embracing self-discipline and aligning ourselves with nature, we create a life of purpose and peace. For example, consider the practice of being in nature, whether it's taking a walk in the park or spending time outdoors. When we immerse ourselves in the natural world, we reconnect with the simplicity and beauty that surrounds us. It reminds us that we, too, are part of this world. We are not isolated beings struggling to achieve success in a vacuum, but part of something much larger. This understanding can help bring us a profound sense of inner peace, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should, and that we are simply playing our role within the greater system. By living according to nature, we gain mental resilience because we stop trying to fight the inevitable. We let go of the desire to control everything, and in doing so, we find a sense of balance and clarity. Self-mastery grows from this acceptance, and our capacity to deal with life's challenges becomes stronger. The Stoic approach to life, grounded in the wisdom of living in harmony with nature, is a powerful way to cultivate inner peace and clarity, regardless of the chaos in the world around us. Lesson 6: Practice empathy and justice. The Stoics' approach to others. For Marcus Aurelius, one of the key aspects of living a virtuous life was understanding the interconnectedness of all people. Stoicism teaches that we are not isolated beings. Instead, we are all part of a larger system, and how we treat others has a direct impact on our own well-being. The Stoic approach to others is rooted in empathy and justice, focusing on the idea that by understanding the struggles and perspectives of others, we can act in a way that is both compassionate and rational. Marcus Aurelius himself, despite his power and position, often reminded himself that he was part of a greater whole, and that his actions should always reflect that interconnectedness. This view is crucial when it comes to developing emotional intelligence and mental resilience. Rather than seeing others as obstacles or threats, Stoics encourage us to see them as fellow travelers on the same journey. When we practice empathy, we recognize that everyone is facing their own battles, and we are less likely to take offense or react impulsively. Instead, we approach others with understanding, which not only improves our relationships, but also allows us to stay grounded in our own values. How empathy, understanding, and justice promote clear thinking. When we embrace empathy, we free ourselves from the emotional clutter that often clouds our judgment. Empathy allows us to see things from other people's perspectives, which leads to clear thinking. By understanding where others are coming from, we are better able to act justly, without getting swept up in personal biases or emotions. Justice, from a Stoic perspective, is not about revenge or punishment, but about treating others with fairness, integrity, and respect. A Stoic mindset for stress can be particularly helpful here. In moments of conflict or tension, instead of reacting out of frustration or anger, a Stoic would pause and reflect on the situation. They would ask themselves, "How can I respond in a way that is just and compassionate?" This practice of empathy and justice reduces emotional reactivity and promotes mental resilience. It helps us navigate difficult social situations with calmness and clarity, ensuring that our actions align with our values. Example of practicing empathy and justice. Consider a scenario at work where a colleague makes a mistake that negatively affects your project. It's easy to get frustrated and point fingers, but practicing empathy means considering why your colleague made that mistake in the first place. Were they under pressure? Were they struggling with something in their personal life? By practicing empathy, you begin to understand the situation from their perspective, which opens the door to a more just response. Instead of reacting out of anger, you might approach the situation with a mindset of helping them improve or offering constructive feedback. This response not only maintains your emotional control, but also strengthens your relationships and promotes a positive, productive environment. This approach, rooted in Stoic practices, fosters mental clarity and emotional strength. It helps you to stay true to your values, even when faced with challenging interpersonal situations. By seeing others as part of the same interconnected system, you can act with integrity, fairness, and understanding, which ultimately leads to inner peace and more harmonious relationships. Now that we've explored the 6 powerful Stoic lessons for clear thinking and mental resilience, it's time for you to take action. Remember, this philosophy isn't just about learning ancient wisdom, it's about applying it in your life, day by day, moment by moment. By embracing the principles of Stoicism, you can cultivate a life filled with more emotional strength, mental clarity, and an unwavering sense of peace. But here's the real question. Are you willing to put these lessons into practice? Are you ready to make a shift in your mindset, to see challenges as opportunities, and to live more in tune with nature's flow? This is your chance to take control of your own growth, to truly transform your life. The Stoic way is one of constant self-improvement, and it starts with you. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new lesson on Stoicism and mental resilience. Share this video with a friend who might benefit from these insights, and let us know in the comments, which Stoic lesson will you start applying in your life today? Take the first step toward a clearer, more resilient mindset. Your journey starts now.